What's going on, guys? Happy summer. We're about 2.5 weeks into season 2.5. See what I did there. And guys, the meta, the flying meta, has been firmly established. From low elo all the way up to the S tier heroes, we're definitely getting a good sense of what is out there right now, and it's time to rank all the heroes. Now, this is just in time because Rival's $3 million Ignite tournament starts in a couple days, the big matches, and I'm happily able to announce I've been selected to cast it from now all the way to November, which is insane. You can tell 10-year-old me that we've made it. It's awesome. Can't wait for that. But if it's your first time here, guys, we do 2 tier lists here on the channel. One for the casual, maybe stuck in low elo hell play, from bronze all the way up to platinum, and then the other from diamond to top 500, because skill matters, damn it. As well, we need to separate the heroes on how well you play the game, but more importantly, how good your teammates are going to be in the rank that you're at. We got a lot to cover. Let's jump in. As always, guys, we're going A to Z. We start with Adam Warlock, and for the Golden God, we're going to be going low. I think I went F tier for low elo last time. They gave him some love, and ultimately, I think he's still a very high skill-dependent hero, not only with aiming, but also with his cooldowns and how to manage them. And on top of that, pretty much every other healer is just a better option when you're playing in low elo. So I've got him down in D because of that. At least he's going up from F tier that he was. You know, he got a little bit better, but ultimately still just not a hero that I would play in lower elo. But in high elo, I struggled with this one. I had him in A. I'm going to bring him down to B. I think towards the top end of high elo, he's probably deserving to go up a bit. Star-Lord got better. That res comp is still very good. I expect to see it in Ignite somewhat. But with all that being said, I would say his skill ceiling potential makes him the ability to have somebody just completely cracked on him. If Hela gets banned, they go at him, and they've got now a Hela that can heal. So Black Panther's next up, hero they've ignored for a while now. Dive is not doing the best. I think it's a little over-exaggerated, but Dive is not doing near as good as it was. The introduction of Emma has just been hilarious, and altogether, guys, it's rough out there for Black Panther. There's almost, of course, you're always going to have those people that can carry and go crazy and wow, and sometimes I think opinions are skewed, especially low elo. You've got people smurfing down there, so you think he's the second coming. But on average, almost always, you're just not worried about Black Panther. Even if you know they have a godly one, you're not banning him. You know, I'll be honest, him and Iron Fist, which we'll talk about, it's like they wanted to create heroes that if you committed crazy amounts of time to, you could go, you know, just completely wild. Spider-Man last season, Black Panther, we saw that in season 0. And then they realized, like, no, we're going to just not do that. And in fact, we're going to ignore them for a couple seasons. So Black Panther, not doing well. F tier for both, actually. I think the normal low elo player, and even at the top ends of high elo, he's probably one of the easier people to deal with, especially given the meta right now. You've got Hela with a quick stun, Emma with the grab, pretty much all of them. And then on top of that, you've got the fly meta going on, and Black Panther could do nothing. All in all, I spent like 2 more minutes than I plan on even talking about the guy. So yeah, not good. Black Widow, on the other hand, Natasha, you know, she's kind of the troll character, but also not at all, guys. This is the season where Black Widow actually is really good, and the team up with Punisher is fantastic. Listen, at top end, I actually think Black Widow is going to go in B tier. Not just for B, for Black Widow. She can stand her own against dive characters. She's got a crazy just combo that can get rid of them. And then obviously if you're far away, she can deal with you quite easily too. But she is a great hero, definitely not the laughing stock anymore. In high elo, low elo, I got her in D tier, unfortunately, even though you could do a lot with her. High skill ceiling, we just don't see that level of play. Unfortunately, she's not going to be what she is in the high part, you know, high elo. So, you know, practice her, quick play, get good at the game, and then, you know, maybe take it into rank then. But yeah, right now I think this is about where I would put Black Widow for each elo. So Captain America's definitely one. What is he? Freedom Never Dies. Freedom's dead. I think Captain America was probably my most played hero in season 2. He was up there. I enjoyed the hell out of him. I thought he was so much fun. Just so toxic. He can never die. He lost a lot of that stalling mechanic that he had, and now he is really good if you commit to him and you learn how to play him the correct way. And so I think in the right hands, certainly could be an A tier. I think A's a stretch, though, in high elo. I'm going to go with B, ultimately. Where he's landing, I think I would rather Hulk on my team. I think even Venom is doing pretty good in some games, where I would probably see Cap. So Cap's going to be in B there, and probably B in low elo as well. I had him in S, I think, last before they hit him with now back-to-back nerfs. So some heroes are getting back-to-back buffs, which really kind of overinflates where they should be. Cap has now been the target a couple of times, and it's taking note, unfortunately. Dropping down a bit. Still a hero that you can mess around with and do okay with, but I don't think Steve Rogers is the same. And on top of that, Flyers, again, it's just, they could just rain down hell. That's for most tanks in the game, but Captain America has a tough time with them. Okay, so Bruce Banner, the Hulk. The good news is, guys, you get to play him. You get to play him. He's not an insta-ban. You can at least have him in your matches now. The bad news is, well, I don't think there is bad news. He has a lot of counters, and you do have to have your supports on their A game to play him the right way. I think he's actually pretty underrated and still a very good hero. It's just not someone that everyone can play at a high efficiency. Good against Flyers as well, and great in the dive right now for what exists of a dive comp. So I like the Hulk. I think he's one of the better Vanguards in the game, especially if others are banned at the moment, which typically not a lot of banned Vanguards here in high elo. I've got him in A tier for high. And then, per usual, down in C tier for low. I think he does take a lot of skill to play right. Oftentimes, people know how to engage but not disengage. And for that reason, you're not getting that value out of him. Even if you're going into his monster Hulk, people melt you down. It's not great in low elo. It's just not a good time. Outside of being, you know, the whole Namor team up, that can go pretty crazy. But there's a hero that can deal with that pretty nicely in low elo. So C tier, and then, of course, A tier for high. All right, next up, guys, we have Cloak and Dagger. This was one of the hardest ones to place for me. I don't know why, but I feel like I got it right. Now, low elo, same song, same dance, baby. One of the easiest heroes to play. Very consistent healing, good damage. You've got the best of both worlds. Very easy to channel your inner Hannah Montana with her. And I think even though her counters are strong, you see them way less in high or low elo than high elo. And speaking of which, let's talk about the counters. So Hawkeye, boom, one tap, you're dead. Just one key on a keyboard, you no longer exist. Not even the keyboard, damn it, the mouse. And then on the other end, you've got Magneto, the more infamous counter to Cloak and Dagger. But I think she's kind of slept on. I think her healing is still fantastic in high elo. She can poke enough at Flyers to make them kind of back away and get more healing. Love that about the auto tracking with Dagger. Bubbles are great to survive a good majority of the ults. I'm gonna have her in low A. I know that might be a hot take, but if you look at it, Grandmaster, Diamond, and even low Celestial, she is like a top 2 support, and then it kind of starts to dip off a bit from there. Hawkeye, though, is banned all the time, so there goes one counter, and Magneto just, just pray to God he don't take the purple ball to the face. Doctor Strange, the doc is back, guys. He had plenty of buffs now to keep him going. He's got that survivability mixed with the no fall off with the pop, and he's got more damage. Not to mention he's got, the team up's always good. Portals are always clutch. The ultimate is solid as well, and it's just gonna do. It charges a bit faster. Where do I've got him? This is a tough one. I think I'm gonna go with A in both high and low elo. I feel like that's about right compared to the other Vanguards and what you see out there. He's definitely feeling much better to play. I've put a lot of time into Strange, and I've enjoyed him on my team as well. Strange and low elo isn't always played the most efficiently, but you still get the job done, and people just make more mistakes around him. You can get more Agamottos off. So what you lack in some of the skill to pull him off, you gain in just people lacking the skill to counter him. And then in high elo, yeah, man, he does the job right. I don't think he's S tier. I think he's well below the top tier tanks, but he feels much better, which I think Rivals is just a better game when Strange is towards the top. That being said, though, best tank of the game. Is she next? She's not. Yes, she is. Emma Frost. Emma Frost counters Strange hard. On top of that, you also have Invisible Woman, who's everywhere. Emma Frost right now, best tank of the game, and I don't think it's not really close. She just does everything at a very high level. Yeah, they nerfed her a little bit in diamond form, but they gave her great damage or range on her primary, which is insane. I'm telling you, even if you don't like tanks, she's crazy good, and she's hot while doing it. So it's just, you're dying, you're seeing the skin, a lot of confused feelings. All I know is Emma is one that I hate seeing carry a game. And there's really no weak part of her kid. I almost put her in A for low elo because I felt like the primary, you do have to have a good amount of aim and sense to do the diamond pull and whatnot. But because how good an OP diamond form is, and her survivability, and her portable shield, and the whole package, I've got her in S tier for both. Firmly taken over as the best tank right now in Rivals. Now, the best tank last season I had is the Big Tree. He's got a new skin. It's pretty cool. He doesn't have a lot of good skins. Groot, where is he at now? I still think he's the second best tank in the game. Them together are the best, and Groot does everything very well. And I think actually in Ignite, we're going to see a lot of Groot play because the ult is incredible. The way that you can separate and really just show off your skill with the skill ceiling he provides with blocking with the walls of heals and zoning teams. You know, Punisher and a lot of the poke is way better to burn through it. Flyers can go over it. So he suffers there, but everything that he brings to the table is still elite. He's not what he once was, but still top of the top in high elo. We've got S tier. But in low elo, guys, it just takes too much skill to pull off a lot of what makes him great, on top of Flyers being pretty relatively easy to just throw down, go crazy. I've got him down in C for low tier. I think I had him in D last season. I am not a fan, and it's probably one of the highest ban characters that I used to see in low elo, that if you're playing, I would recommend not always banning him. If you do find yourself in elo hell down there, there's better bans out there to pick than Groot. Now, before we carry on, guys, quickly, just got an awesome announcement. I've got a brand new channel, Cozy Cast, rolls right off the freaking tongue, with a bunch of new extra Rivals content heading its way. I got a weekly dedicated podcast, a lot of just cool, fun tier lists, and a whole lot more heading that direction. And kicking things off, we'll be doing a deep dive into the $3 million Ignite tournament with a weekly podcast inviting the top players to talk, looking at all the best heroes and strategies from what I saw casting that week with some of my co-casters brought on, and a bunch more. And this will be esport focused on that side, but there's a whole lot more topics and guests and just crazy stuff that I have planned for the channel. And so if you want to check it out, it'll be down in the description below. Subscribe so you don't miss out on the first video. All things kicking off here pretty soon. Yeah, that's it. Let's get back to the tier list. Hawkeye. Do we even need to spend that much time? I mean, I guess I gave Black Panther like 30 seconds. I'll give him more. Hawkeye is exactly where we thought he would be. He's just cracked, man. He's very good. The team up with Luna, the counter potential, the high DPS, the skill ceiling. Insane hero. Banned all the time. That's the only good news. You don't see him much because he's banned very often. I've got him in S tier for high elo, and then I'm going to put him down. Funny enough, I had him in A. I'm going to put him down in B for low elo. I feel like, at first, if you look at the stats, they're horrendous for low elo, but also you got to really pull off good aim and consistency. His ult's not like God mode or anything when you're not great at the game, and so I do think he's not the best in low elo, but in high elo, one of the best heroes and an easy ban, and then the team up shooting through walls. I mean, what else do you need? So yeah, definitely crack. And then of course, it's always fun. They're together. Hela, Hawkeye. Hela is going to be the other one in S tier for high elo, and I've got her in A tier for low, a little bit above Hawkeye. Yeah, she's aim dependent, but the thorns are a bit more forgiving than the arrows, and her ultimate's much better. Her passive's good. Hela's just a bit better. She's not S tier. Neither of them. You've got to just have a bit more game awareness and aim awareness to be so solid in low elo. So I've got her in A. And then, of course, in high elo, she's the 1A, 1B with Hawkeye. Maybe they did this to counter what was going to be a fly meta that we do see a good amount of, but the damage at this point is insane. You've got to deal with her. The stun, I think, is what really makes her crazy. Because if you are going to address her having such a powerful stun is one of the worst things about her. It's just so punishing. She's got the escape. This is who we're going to see as the main anchor and or top ban in Ignite. We saw it last time in the MRC when I casted that. That's what we're going to see this time. I expect to see a lot of her and expect to say a lot of glaze over Hela in the next coming months. Human Torch is a tough one. He definitely got hit pretty hard with the nerf hammer. Still very good. I think he's kind of talked down a bit just because of how good the other flyers are doing. In a flyer season, though, he's still a solid pick if one of them got banned. I would say he feels about B tier for both. He's pestering enough in low elo, and people aren't particularly... we'll talk about this later, but they're not good at looking up. And then in high elo, there's just better picks than him, but he can still do well. Unfortunately, Storm found a new boo. Doesn't need him in the team up as much. But yes, Torch can do okay. He was one of the best characters, if not the best. The last season, they overtuned him. Again, we've seen this where they buff a couple people too many times. And Johnny Storm was one of those. But I feel like B feels good for both. Where I've got Sue, I feel Sue is kind of where I always have her. She's going to be a staple. There's no real weaknesses to her in high elo. Just offers so much counterplay and good healing and protection and healing from a distance. I love everything about her, and I expect to see her play way more in Ignite. I also see her all the time in high elo. Low elo, somewhat of a skill-dependent hero, but still can do well. She's actually one of the worst win rates across the board in low elo, but I think that's because a lot of people play her. She's got like a 30% pick. But on top of that, it's not the easiest hero to get down all the time. I would say she's probably low A for low elo, and then definitely good. Solid S tier for high. And if you think it's bad now, wait till Marvel Studios starts pumping in the money to get them to promote Fantastic Four in July. They're going to make them just the best heroes in the game. I'm telling you. Human Torch, they're making him just a little worse now just so they can send him to the moon here in a month. Oh, man. Okay, Iron Fist. So we all got to live in the world of what if that we made Iron Fist too good, and what would that look like? That was fun. That was a fun time. Man, Iron Fist, I think, is still fine. His gameplay loop is definitely suffering. People can carry and do their thing. I've got him at the very low end of B for high elo. And it's even tough to put him there, but I think he still is fine in certain matchups and with certain people. And definitely, you know, he was overtuned. Now he's even, but on the lower side. Low elo, C tier feels about where he's at. People have a harder time dealing with him. You have more self-sustain. I actually like him if you're a solo carry. I like Fist because you don't need to rely on many people. And, you know, what he does well is fine. He does okay against Flyers, but they did take away a lot of that. And they kind of over-nerfed him to the over buff that they gave him. So I think they just don't know what to do with him. He's one of those heroes like Black Panther. Like, we can't make him good, but we don't want him bad. What do? Iron Man. Oh, man. It feels like season 0 all over again. Okay, so Gamma Charge is out, right? And then even like a season ago, Gamma wasn't all that much. That's out, and now you've got Ultron. Now, him being a team up for Ultron is great, and that's awesome. But the biggest thing is Ultron just existing, who's obviously not ban worthy. And so you've got this meta of Flyers. His damage with the 5% anchor bonus is crazy. His ultimate can destroy supports, but also can counter the Sharknado, which is just the most BS thing I've seen in Rivals. I think Iron Man's probably one of the most feared DPS at the moment. He sounds like a lawnmower when he's flying around, but he does everything well. His AoE's good. His poke is solid. His beam melts tanks. His ultimate's busted. Iron Man S tier for both, and pretty easily because he's beginner friendly, but also you can take him pretty high in the top end. He's banned a lot too now. Jeff. Let's talk Jeff. I think the downfall of Jeff was a little exaggerated, but that not really. So the dive portion of Jeff has definitely died down a lot, okay? I don't think he's bad. In fact, he's better for low elo. He's definitely, I got in B tier for low elo because he's easier to play and be a second support. His healing's not, it's consistent. And then his main damage is also easy to pull off. I think this is a better Jeff for low elo, and you're happy that he's there. High elo, I've got him in C tier. I don't think he's a pick you want a lot, but you're not like extreme. It's not the end of the world. He's definitely the lowest healer, though. He is the worst support right now in high elo. But I've got him in C, so B, C feels good. I would say probably high end of B, if that makes any difference. And then on top of all this, Sharknado exists, and he's, you know, he's a key component to that. He's not going to be banned or anything, but he still does the job. I think he's going to stay this way, but they're going to give him buffs. They're definitely going to make him a little bit better. I think they've read the feedback, so I would expect that here in a couple weeks or so. Loki, not a lot to talk about. You know, I kind of have him in the same place that I've always had Loki. I've got him in B tier for low elo, just not able to live up to the skill ceiling that he has, and he's just not the easiest to play. Yeah, you know, 2 Lunas are great and all, but in low elo, it just doesn't exist as much. The coordination and the countering, especially with how prominent Moon Knight is in low elo. High elo, S tier, probably the second best support in the game. Right next to Luna, who I think is next. Yeah, Luna's next. We'll talk about both of them. So you have S tier and high elo for Loki, and S tier for Luna, and then I've got Luna in A tier for low elo, and Loki's in B. I think I've had Luna in S almost every season. I brought her down because you've got to have decent good aim to get the most out of her kit. I could almost justify putting her in B, but just her ultimate and her kit is way overtuned. And then in S tier, she's quite literally like the best hero in Rivals. Insane DPS, insane healing, cracked ult, the freeze, you can track a healer or a flyer with heals. There's nothing bad about it. It's crazy how overtuned this hero is. And again, this is one of my most expected supports to take a hit in some capacity. But who knows, man? She's made it this long. So for now, this is where I've got both Luna and Loki. I mean, if you decided to play either of these characters at launch, which I decided to, you've been eating good the whole time. Like, imagine some of the arcs that these characters have had. is insane compared to how just solid good Luna and Loki have both been since the beginning of this game. Next up is Magik, and this one's always tough because I think, you know, every now and then you get a Magik that's not bad, but there's just too much going against Magik to justify what she does. And she's so easy to expect what she's about to do. The Magics do the same thing every single game, and you know exactly kind of what their combo is and what to watch out for. The ultimate doesn't have that same scared factor. Emma just choke slams her and makes her change. I think it's sad to say, but I think she's D tier for both. Low elo because the skill issue a little bit, but also just not as consistent as other heroes. And then high elo, she's just amongst, if you look at all the DPS, right? DPS highly competitive role slot because, you know, you want to do the most damage as possible, and Magic's just not it this season. Don't know what she needs either, but it's a tough one for her. D2. Without even a beat of hesitation, I can say Magneto's going to be the most played hero in Ignite because he doesn't get banned all that often, and he does everything right. Ultimate defensive hero, fantastic offensive hero, easy to play, great to get, you know, just high input with him. I've said this a lot, but he was a top 3 tank last season, and then he got buffed. The other ones got, you know, attempted to get nerfed. S tier for both, and I want him tamed a little bit. I'm a Magneto stan. I like Magneto, so I'm okay with him being towards the top. But also, it just feels like he's been good for so freaking long, and I don't know how you tame him a ton. I guess get rid of the ring thing they just gave him, but I don't know how you tame him a ton without doing what you did to someone like Strange. You don't want to gut him, but yeah, man, he's way too good. One of the best characters in the game. And then we move to Mantis, which is not even close. Mantis, just give her the HP back and we're fine. You know, if she gets her HP back, then we can talk. But at the moment, B tier for high elo, I think at the very top end, and that's being generous. I might want to even put her down a tier, but I think she can get the job done. In low elo, I think she's C tier. Next to Adam, get her off the team. I'd rather Jeff. There's no other strategist that I would rather want at that level of play. Again, outside of Adam, she just feels so easy to kill right now. Yes, you can have some nice damage, but the fall off of grace that she has had from season 0 to now, I hate it. And I especially hate it because I think she's a fascinating character and what she could provide and really amp up the team and be this cool kind of jack of all trades role, but right now she's not. Mr. Fantastic got all those buffs, avoided all the big nerfs. I think he's still very good, and damn it, just never dies. He's the new Captain America, or staying there, and people have figured out his gameplay loop that much better. I've said this for a while now. I do think Mr. Fantastic is an S tier in low elo. So unkillable. The coordination's not there. You can wreck hell. If you haven't and you're struggling with aim, play Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, he struggles a bit against flyers, but for the most part, dude, he can run lobbies at low elo. High elo, he falls down a bit. People know what to do, and the coordination's there to kind of burn him down and wait for cooldowns. B tier for high elo, S tier for low. Okay, so Moon Knight. I'm probably higher up on Moon Knight than most people, and I wanted to put him in S tier for low elo. That's how good I think he is. I think people just ignore him. I mean, just completely ignore him in there, and they group together and they die to ult. Everything Moon Knight wants, you get it in low elo, and I don't know why I didn't put him up there, but he's in A tier for low elo. High elo, I've got him in C because of all the points I just made. They notice you, and damn it, they're gonna attack you or counter you, and it's tough for him. I think his damage feels good though, and he's at a pretty good place. If I have a Cloak and Dagger, I can succeed pretty good in high elo. I don't mind playing at that, and I don't get completely stomped, but he's definitely, in comparison to the other ones, just a bit worse. I think he could, in a world, float to B, but he's going to be in C and A tier for low. Okay, so we got Namor. Dive isn't as prevalent, so you don't need him as much with his turrets. He did get some nice buffs, but his Blessing of the Deep, his survivability is a bit harder to pull off. I think where the meta is at the moment, I've got him in low A tier for high elo, and just regular A tier for low elo. You know, he's easy to play. If you flank as Namor, you could definitely get crazy things going with him and run lobbies in the low. Damage boost him and with Luna, and you can still team wipe, and so that is always going to make him a very solid playable hero at high elo. Is he S tier? You know, with the Hulk team up, there's just more ways to deal with it. I think this is about where the King of the Sea's got to be. Although he's still, you know, a very solid pick. I would never be mad at a good Namor on my team. Peni Parker, guys. Have you seen this chick's win rate? It's absurd. This is the Human Torch of last season. way too many buffs, and then the team up, and then they're like, what do we do? She's cracked. Now, the meta she's in is not the best right now for her, but it doesn't really matter. She's succeeding well. I think because of the meta, high elo, she's probably B tier. About B tier, I feel like low end, but still very solid against everything. Obviously, flying units can just take care of the nest, and that's what she doesn't excel against, but the webs help. Dive isn't as prevalent. But man, she's banned all the time because of what she can do. Low elo, she was S tier, now like S+++. If you are playing low elo, play Peni, man. People don't know what to do. But yeah, she still just gets completely crapped on at a range and suffers, you know, up close. But up close heroes aren't having the best time. But yeah, I think this is a great season for Peni. And she has the stats to be an A hero, easily high elo. But in the meta right now, I've got her top of B. Moving on, we go to Psylocke, who was a tough one for me to place because they drastically made her worse with the invisible nerf going down a full second. That being said, she was very good. Now she's pretty damn good. Low A for high elo and B, very low B. Close to C for low elo. What the skills you need for Psylocke and the punishment of having even a less survivability is tough. Her ultimate, though, farms. It can go crazy. And the burst damage she provides is still, you know, towards the top. I think she's outclassed by a good amount of DPS now that her use case isn't near as much, but still does serve a purpose. And so for that reason, I've got her an A and then B. Rocket Raccoon, they didn't do much to change him outside of the infinite ammo. And I feel like he's going to be about the same. He is the easiest hero to run lobbies with in the low elo. His healing output's crazy. The res beacon, team up with Peni. You name it. Why aren't you playing it in low elo? S tier for sure. I've got him in A tier for high. I think we see a lot of rockets, and I think what he provides to the team is still very valuable. But in comparison, he's falling off just ever so slightly in high elo. But damn it, I love a good rocket on my team. And he's got that kind of welcoming to play, but you know, you can do some crazy things the more you play with him. Rocket's low A. All right, so each season, guys, I pick up a new hero, at least one, maybe a couple. In this season, I decided, you know what? I've got the alpha skin. I'm going to play a little bit of Scarlet Witch and have a good time. Let me tell you something. I saw the complete arc of how this hero plays. Low elo with Doctor Strange. You know what? Typically, I'm going to hope that you're not having Scarlet Witch players that aren't playing. Without Strange, she's just not near as good. With the Strange team up in a flying meta, I think Scarlet Witch is awesome. I'm telling you, she's crazy. She felt so easy. I was like, why have I not been playing this character? S tier for low elo. And then as I continue to go up, I felt why. I think she's B tier. I still think she's good. That team up, man, can melt Ultron, Iron Man, get him out of here. Just continually just runs lobbies. Her ultimate feels better. Strange is good again, so she's going to do well. The higher you get, the lower her performance is going to be in general, but she can still do a good job. I think she's just one of those that's kind of crapped on because you see pros crap on her, which makes sense. Pro play, she's never going to be. You're not going to see her in Ignite, but for the rest of you guys, she's easy. I don't plan on maining her or anything. I think she was a fun experiment, but yeah, she definitely proved how good she is in this current meta. Spider-Man, oh man, it's tough, dude. I'm telling you, he falls in that bucket. The Iron Fist, Spider-Man, Black Panther. It's dive, but it's also like high skill ceiling characters they just want to tame down. He lost Venom, and man, we've all been there. The guy asking for the Venom team up a million times because he's going to carry the lobby, only to die at the beginning. Spider-Man's just not it this season. I've got him in D tier for both. Certainly, there's Spider-Man players that can do good, but it's that much harder, and it just does not feel like his season. You had your fun last season. All right, you roamed around. You caused hell. This season, it's tamed a little bit. It pains me to put him there. I think he could arguably be C. It's right there, but I think given everything, with the amount of just struggles that he goes against, he's towards the bottom. Okay, so Squirrel, man, they definitely gave her some love. I'm telling you, low elo. I think Squirrel is an A tier hero. Just spams the damage, the cooldowns, it all works together, and people just don't shoot the Squirrel Tsunami. She just punishes lobbies, man. When you're at low elo, you can just spam into it anywhere and you're gonna get kills. High elo, she definitely suffers more. I think she's better than she was. I'm gonna put her up to B tier. I have seen some crazy things from her. I've seen a lot of people say they want less damage and less ammo, but for the fire rate to be faster to deal with flyers. But either way, with Strange, Groot, whatnot, you can just, continue to throw in the nuts. I don't think we're going to see her in Ignite play, but I do respect where she is right now in the meta. Star-Lord was the one that I wrestled the most with. I had him in S tier, I took him out. I had him in, took him out. I think he's right on the edge, but I put somebody in there instead of him in high elo. He's A tier for both. His ultimate change made him way better in low elo because you farm the ult and then you farm kills. And then in high elo, one of the best burst characters that can kind of do it all and is fantastic in neutral fights. Neutral fights, right? When there's not ultimate fireworks going on and the Michael-based specials, who can get damage and picks and pull things off? And Star-Lord's a great character to do so. Next is Storm. We can say it in one breath. S tier both. Sharknado, she has to be banned, or there's nothing you could do. Low elo, you're just chickens with your head cut off. And high elo, she just can carry. And there's nothing you can do most of the time, especially just to win that last point. You throw on 2 strategist ults and it's done. The Jeff NATO is so hard to counter. It counters everything in the game. Iron Man can at least help, but outside of that, Iron Man's the only one I think who could do the insta kill on it. Storm is a must ban for the most part. And if she's not being banned, I don't care if you've never played her. Pick her up, farm the ult, get a Jeff player who's already doing bad on your team. Just make him play Jeff and then do the Sharknado. Very hard to counter. And it is an incredibly already just good character. She was slept on last season with solid damage and range, survive all of it. Her ultimate's better, and then the NATO is even crazier. The Punisher, this is the hero I decided to put in S tier on both of them instead of Star-Lord. Punisher, man, that extra magazine, it feels like he's just never not shooting. Double negative, I don't care. In low elo, you've got the turret, that's already a hell, and then you've got now essentially just the turret in the hand, that's the AR. Shotgun up close to deal with anything that, whether it's Emma or Groot, but you can burn through walls easy. You delete flyers. I struggled with putting him here for high elo, but I think he's one of the better DPS right now in the game for that consistent damage, what you're looking for, and just tension and pressure, and damn it, he creates it. I like where the Punisher's at right now, and I think he's going to be one that we see a lot in Ignite and one that I've seen a lot in play, which is, it's fun to see. It's cool to see that we have Frank Castle showing up. He was definitely more of an average hero, now way better. Now we're on the Thing, and the problem is the Thing didn't have a lot of changes, but what he did, right, he solved dive. And the problem is we don't have a lot of that right now. And in triple tank, he can do well. But outside of that, he's a very bad Vanguard and probably the worst right now. I have him in F tier. Good God for low elo. Mainly because the Thing does bad is going to be highlighted that much more in low elo. And then what he does well, he's at the top of D, I guess, for high elo. It's just not his meta. It's a tough time to play him. He doesn't feel great right now, and it's tough to see. And I think people are going to be shocked that I have him below some other people. But that's what I'm seeing out there outside of triple tank. He's a rough time. God of Thunder in the new rework. Where does he land? This one I've put a lot of thought into. I've talked to a lot of people. And listen, I think that if you want to say he's F tier, you're crazy. I don't think he is. I think he's C tier for high elo. I know. And then he's going to be A tier for low. Now, I always had him in S tier for low elo. Good bully presence, good damage. You can outduel DPS and tanks. You got a little bit of both. They took his survivability way down, and now we've got what we have, and that's an offensive, awaken, crazy, just non-stop spamming beast. At low elo, people get punished, man. People do not know how to deal with him. He's a good answer to Peni. And he is a threat. He's still that bully. He dies a little bit easier, but that's okay in low elo. It kind of made him better overall down there. In high elo, he's good against a lot of DPS. He's decent pressure. You're not going to see him much. Let's face it. Him and Thing, you're really never going to see. But I think Thor could use a touch more survivability back to him. His ultimate could certainly use some type of buff, or they make it where Awaken can be canceled mid-Awaken. That would solve a lot. Because he's too easy to pick off. We're not going to see any of them in Ignite. But for the most part, he can cook. He's not the worst that he's ever been. But he's C tier, definitely towards the very bottom of that in high elo. And I like him in A tier for high. Venom, I think, is, for whatever reason, not played enough. I've got him in A tier for both, and that's pretty confidently. Yeah, Dive's not doing well, and yeah, he lost a team up, but he still does his job very efficiently, and it isn't bullied by much out there. You know, flyers can mess with him, but he can get out when he needs to. Good distraction. I've seen Venom carry, and he's one of those solid heroes that I feel good about putting here because he definitely doesn't belong lower than this. This is the dive hero outside of Hulk that I would play right now. Winter Soldier, obviously a couple seasons ago, it's all we saw again, and then they tamed him a bit. They gave him that extra recharge with his extra ball he shoots out. That's great. I got him as a solid DPS still. He's an A tier, probably a lower A tier, but definitely a good DPS in both elos. I think he can do his job well. You have more openings than low elo to go crazy and chain that thing together. And then in high elo, he can put out a lot for the team. And I like what he provides. Wolverine, man, Iron Fist is out. Wolverine's back. He's the closest I could get to putting someone in an S tier without putting him there. I've got him in A tier for high elo, B tier for low. You don't see a ton of good tank play in low. He's just not as needed. But in high tier, he's like the most efficient counter in the game. He just, if someone's playing Torch, you go Hela. If someone's playing a solid tank for the most part, you go Wolverine. Very efficient, a lethal demon. His ult's strong. Everything's good about him. We've gotten used to his rage mechanics. I still love him. Top of A in high elo, and again, B for low. And then lastly, guys, we have Ultron, the newest hero, and everyone thought he would be bad. Then they buffed him, and then now he's finding his place a lot, and he's really bringing everybody home in the flying world, right? Storm and Iron Man and Ultron are just raining hell from the skies, and no one's shooting up. I think Ultron is A tier for high elo, B tier for low. I think low elo, you've got to have some skill to play him the right way, but his survivability is good. And the skill that you need is traded off with how bad people are at dealing with you. So you've got that going for you. He's just raining lobbies, though. And if Iron Man's not banned, you got to deal with both of those. Them two together is hell on earth in low elo. And then in high elo, definitely feels solid. The guy just farms MVPs. Oh, I swear to God, new character, you can have it. But good damage, good healing. You don't have to think about your healing. The ultimate comes on all the time. I definitely like where Ultron's at the moment. So there we guys go. That's the whole tier list for those that skipped to this point of the video. Hello. While you're down, you might as well just get lost and click the subscribe button. That'd be crazy. But hopefully you enjoyed the video and or just the rankings that you're looking at. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, guys, good luck out there and happy rivaling.